Hello, welcome to my week. Hello, Macy. Close that freaking door. Hello, welcome to my weekly update. I wish I had more to give you this week, but really it's been a week of not a lot in terms of my final major project, but I have done a lot of things in all of my other assignments. Yeah, so let's start off with the live sessions. I've emailed the bands. They still seem really up for the live sessions. I've also messaged him. He can't wait for them too. I'm in that midpoint of kind of planned everything and also waiting for the day. And there's really not much I can do in the middle of it apart from facilitate the communications with the band and making sure they're still up for it. There are still conversations going on about, am I going to expense the travel, which I want to do, I really want to do. And also just time slots. For the moment, I have the studio from 9 till 3, and I'll be looking to prep the room for about an hour before they get their kind of decorations, and then have the first band in at 10 till 12, where we can record about 4 or 5 songs with an interview in the middle. And then hopefully most of the microphones will be set up for the second one, so it won't take as long to get them in. I feel like that's going to work out pretty well. You know, I've given myself enough time. Instead of having 3 bands and going down to 2, it's given me a lot more leeway. I could start making some of the assets for the live sessions, so getting all the assets off the creative director of NMG to use at the start and end of the videos. And also just to know the colour schemes and things, just so I can make transitions with the right colours, or, you know, maybe even set up the studio to a nice kind of complementary colour to NMG. Yeah, so I'm hoping to book a few more hours after 3, but the way booking works at ICMP is I can only book 2 weeks in advance. I've managed to get the 6 hours through my course leader, who's been very kind and helpful with that. So I'll be, at the end of December, I'll be looking to book a further 3 to 6 hours, just so I can take the audio after they leave and start editing it, and then try and get it all done in one day, just to kind of ease the process. Part 2, the EP. The EP is coming along. I've gone through and edited all the drums, so kind of getting rid of all the bleed from the kick drum and snare drum, and putting little fades in so there's no clicks or pops. A lot of the preliminary processing on the drums is done, so kind of getting to the point where all the drums sound the way I want them. I've managed to import all of Will's guitar, the lead guitar, into the project. This Sunday coming, which will be the 19th, I'll be recording vocals. You know, I'll be trying to do as much of the processing with the outboard gear I have at hand at the time. I've got 4 hours to record the vocals, which I think will be more time than I'll need. It seemed to take a lot longer with the guitars. It took me 6 hours to do the lead guitars due to kind of the amount of layers that we were doing, and also just the setup is a bit more what's the word complicated, kind of trying to keep all the microphones in phase, things like that. But with a vocal, obviously it's just the one microphone, and all I have to worry about is kind of making sure the compression's correct on the way in. And also there's a really nice reverb unit called a Bricasti in the studio, which I will use to flip between plate reverbs and hall reverbs and see what works. But I will print those in as well on the way in with the vocal, so I can edit them when I get them home into my own computer. The only thing left after that would be my guitar and the synthesizers and any filler, so percussion, things like that. And also gang vocals, which we will need to do as a group at some point. I'm really liking how the songs are coming along. It's sounding the way I want really quickly. You know, trying to do as much of the processing of the audio on the way in really cuts down on the time it takes me to put the song together. The only thing I'm not liking about the recording so far is that we recorded the overheads with a pair of Coles 4038s. The overheads are not as bright as the references that I have. I'm really struggling to bring that brightness out in the mixes. This may be something that I just have to deal with and kind of say, that is the tone of the drums now. I wish I had actually recorded the overheads with the Neumann KM184s that I said I wanted to in the first place. I wish I'd made that decision on the day. There's not much I can do about it now. The artist spotlight is coming along now. Finally carved out some time next week to start the interview process of the artist spotlight. I think it's long overdue now. I should have started this a while ago, but there seems to have been so many obstacles in the way. And again, it will be great to start the soundtrack for it as well. I'm really interested in LeMacy's thoughts on how she wants the backing track to the promotional video to sound like, really, and get started on it. I'm just hoping she doesn't ask for sitar. Other interesting news, as of the 17th, I'll be running a recording session at Fish Factory in Dollis Hill. This is going to be a full band recording with the band I play bass in, under the solo artist name Joshua K. I'm really excited. I've been going through the gear list that Fish Factory have supplied me with, and I've made a list of all the channels that I'm going to be using, but I will be making a separate video about that. I've also acquired a new camera as well to record this with. It is called a Sony FDR X3000. It seems to be great for action shots, and it's got a really wide lens, which I don't have yet. So I'll be using the camera that I'm recording this with for a personal shot, and then I'll be using the Sony for a wide angle of the whole band. The other members of the band also have cameras, so we are going to be recording the whole thing from lots of different angles. I'm going to try and edit a whole live session video together for that as well, which will be great fun. I'll give more information in a separate video about how the day goes and what kind of equipment I was using during the day. I will hopefully have that out at some point next week. But yeah, I think that'll do for an update. So thank you very much. Goodbye.